Hello, X-Men Legacy here, and today I just kind of want to go through a regular playthrough and show you guys what I do when I want to kind of play a game of Fable. Now, what I like to do is I like to do almost everything you can do in the game. At the same time, I like to rush through the game. I don't mind doing exploits here and there, and as you've seen in previous videos, I don't mind some cheating. Like, I currently have a lot of progress into a cheat engine table. So, I don't know, sometimes I like to watch everything, sometimes I like to skip everything, but in this one, I'm literally going to try to skip every cutscene and every conversation because it's, for the most part, irrelevant to what I'm doing. I'm just trying to do a really quick playthrough and show you guys what I like to do when I play Fable.
One day being a hero. Sometimes he imagined himself as a noble knight or a powerful wizard. And other times he dreamt he'd be an evil warrior. But in all his dreams of greatness, he could not possibly imagine the power of the destiny that lay before him.
One of the coolest parts, in my opinion, about the first Fable, and I guess the second Fable, is you start off as an actual kid in the game. In Fable 1, you start up as a boy, and Fable 2, you can pick boy or girl, but I feel like the childhood in the first game here is more fulfilling. You do a little bit more because you do go to the guild, you do learn how to do basic stuff, and then you go out and you become your own person. Within a semi-linear kind of storyline, you get to make some choices here and there, but it's still kind of linear. Now, I cut it out, but I made it so that I'm using traditional gameplay controls instead of the Fable 2, Fable 3, because those suck. And yeah, I just go straight to where I need to do. I talk to this dude, I go tell his wife on him, and then I start heading over to whatever else I want to do next. I gotta zip through this as fast as I can. In Fable Lost Chapters, I used to mod the game so that there would be like a chest right there next to that dude you talk to, where it would actually have the Sword of Aeons in it, and I'd run around as a kid with the Sword of Aeons. It was always hilarious. I tend to do all the good choices as a kid. No real reason why, I just feel like it's fast and easy, I get my money fast, I get done with it fast, and that's it.
Here, I'll let you look after Rosie. She'll be safe with you.
It's really funny how that bully you actually beat up in the beginning of the game, he's like the bully right outside the guild. He's the kid that's sick and you need to get the mushrooms for. It's a bunch of stupid things like that. Like, they reused him multiple times. This kid's also in Bowerstone, so it's kind of funny. You know, I've never really understood why this guy needed you to watch his boxes while he went and did something. I mean, what is he going to go do? Take a leak? I mean, there's no bathrooms in like the entire game, so what is he actually doing? Why doesn't he just go behind the barn and take a piss or something? Really is a very simple childhood. You just kind of do good things, your dad gives you money for them, and you just buy a gift for your sister. I mean, that kind of wholesome. I definitely like playing this game on the PC more than I do on the Xbox, simply because, to be honest, I can play this game at like 200 FPS on my computer, and I can only play it at like 30 FPS on my Xbox, and I'm only recording this in 1080p because I'm recording it on my Xbox and I don't want to fill up my storage on my micro, like my little USB stick, too fast.
Hello, little brother. I knew
One
you were
thing
going
I
to
do
bring me
kind of
chocolates.
wonder is,
I knew you
why the
would.
hell is, you know, the giant, like, the Shadow Court from Fable 2? I always wonder why there's not something there or whatever, or why they put it there to begin with. It just makes no sense. It doesn't look like it fits. It's just woods there. Did they just build a giant fucking building? Like, why? It kind of sucks that your dad dies at the very beginning of the game, but they never really got you very attached to the character to begin with, so it's just kind of weird in my opinion. And then all of these loading screens just for you to puke and get to the guild kind of sucks, but at least you can skip through them a little bit. I fast forwarded them for the video just because it makes it easier for you guys. Now, when I get here, I tend to do the race right away because, I mean, it's an easy, like, 25 gold or something like that. Best way to do it is just stand pretty far away from him when you start talking to him, and then just keep sprinting and hugging the right side here. All the way there and then all the way back. Definitely nothing to this race whatsoever. Normally beat it with like 10-ish seconds at the end. Sometimes it's, I mean, it's usually more like 6 seconds towards the end. And there we go, that is done. The only other things I normally do as a kid here is I just grab the apples and I bring them to the lady there to get the pie. And that's about it. I usually don't do the crow stuff because, I mean, that gives you bad points when you kill the crows. But all you really need is 4 apples. It looks like I got 3. Need 1 more, and I don't know why I'm looking at everything trying to find it. I know it's right here. And then I end up getting more, but what are you gonna do? It's free apples. You can sell them later if you want to.
I can't if you're from. Thanks. Thank you so here.
The servants live in here.
I definitely enjoyed the combat better in Fable Anniversary 2. It just makes more sense to holster weapons and stuff like that instead of like just pressing X to hit all the time, pressing Y to shoot all the time, and pressing B to cast magic or whatever all the time. I liked actually having to like choose and pick and holster and all that kind of stuff in the first game. They really, if they do make a new one, they do need to bring that back because it is an absolute must-have in most RPG games nowadays. Unless you're playing some weird, fast-paced thing, it's just not okay to me. Like, The Witcher did an amazing job with its combat system, and I probably would never want it any other way after playing that game. The beetle mission here, another good thing to have as a kid. I mean, they brought it back for Fable 2. You go into the building and kill the beetles for the one dude, but that's, I mean, it's weird. I mean, you go in with a cap gun and you go kill some beetles. I mean, a cap gun? There are some points in this game when, in the first game, when you're fighting beetles, that you can barely kill a beetle with like an arrow sometimes or some magic. Makes no sense. So how would a cap gun that literally shoots a cork kill a beetle? Answer me that. That's just about everything I've done as a kid now. I think it's time to move on to being a teenager.
Here,
How about
I
that?
think you've earned yourself some pocket money for that. If you want more gold, I'm sure the servants could use your help with something. Or you can get an early night. The guild was now the boy's life. The memory of the
Get out of bed,
Aging
lazy.
in the
We were
first
supposed-
Fable was definitely one of my favorite fables for kind of growing up and stuff, because I mean, right now it looks like my dude's like a young teenager, like a preteen, but at the same time this is the character's like standard thing. This is how tall he's gonna be for the rest of the game if he doesn't level up any physique and shit like that. So it's kind of cool because he looks young. He has his black hair. He's got, well, I mean, he has a stick on his back. That's just kind of a given for
You
looking
can put
young.
that old stick
But
away. We'll
when you get
begin
your
training
first
with
sword
real weapons
from the
now.
guildmaster, that's
Get used to
actually
the weight
really
of this
cool.
sword,
I
and let's
mean,
see if you can hit Whisper with it.
it kind of shows how much time's actually kind of passed. I mean, I don't remember how old you were at the very beginning of the game, but when you're starting to play here and you get the sword and you actually go up and start sparring with Whisper, it just kind of feels a little bit more fulfilling than not. I mean,
Now pay attention.
you do flourishes. I mean, I don't even think you should know what a flourish is yet. You should learn how to do that later on. Kind of like
Every time.
later in the game, you fight Whisper and she's like asking you if you know how to flourish, right? And then she asks you to do it to her, and then you actually fight her. And that's just kind of weird to me because you've been able to do it the entire time, and you used flourishes in your first fight with her to begin with. So why would she think you don't know how to use it?
Keep training if you want to go there yourself one day.
I could have beaten him if you hadn't stopped
Yeah,
us.
I know I complain a bit about this game, but I mean, I've been playing this game since the early 2000s, and I don't know, when you're a really good fan of something, you start to nitpick just a little bit. You think of things that could be better. That's where, I mean, to me, the PC version fills in a lot of issues that I don't necessarily like about playing this on console. One key thing that I don't like about playing this, at least on like the 360 and the Xbox One, is the frame rate. So when you're using a bow, when latency is the issue. I'm not really meaning as much the frame rate. So I'm pulling out a bow right here, and it's really delayed. So instead of me getting like the highest score possible and actually passing on my first try on the test, I go through like at least six tries or something, because it pulls me into the evening before I actually finally finish it. And it's ridiculous. Like, I feel so bad because when I'm with the guildmaster, I end up getting a high score. I mean, I'm not really going for the highest scoring shots or anything like that, but when I actually start trying, I figure out a way to actually do it again, figure out how to compensate better for the delay in my shots coming between the latency of the controller and the TV and blah blah blah. But once I got that down, I actually get a pretty decent score here. You really don't need much to get past the guildmaster part, but when you're actually going to be testing to get the A+, you need like 150 something plus, maybe a bit more. I mean, I think I got like 180 or something when I did this in a minute here, but it is definitely something that you could struggle with on console. Now, I like to just talk to him right away, because then it instantly puts you at the next area, and this is literally the easiest challenge right here. All you have to do is stand on one side, lock on, and use your lightning, and then let go of the lightning casting button when all three of them are turned around. Typically you want to do that so you don't accidentally hit the guildmaster, but as long as you're aimed nicely, you shouldn't hit him. And this should go by pretty fast and you should get the max score possible. Like, there's no way to fuck up this one. I mean, I have in the past when I didn't understand and I was always standing on the other side and I'd like hit the guildmaster and piss him off, but you should pretty much always get like 24, 25 points.
Excellent use of magic. Well done.
Now, when you're done with all this, you're going to want to actually just continue and you want to go play. Okay? The reason you want to go play is you want to go and finish everything else you didn't do. So you're going to want to go fight Whisper for the A+, which is super easy. If you want to make it even easier, just don't get hit. Just roll a lot. You won't have an issue. I ended up taking an extra try because I had to put my controller down to grab my kids, but I ended up doing it the second try, no problem. I mean, look at, you just kind of roll around after hitting. Right after she rolls backwards like that, you're going to want to like block or at least roll because she's always going to attack. If she blocks you, she's probably going to counter right away as well. So just kind of avoid that. Roll around, honestly. Rolling in this game is literally the easiest thing to like use. It's like a no clip. You just don't get any damage for it. So once you've taken her out, I don't know, head over to the archery range or something. Get that done and over with. This actually takes a bit because, as I said, I really needed to get used to the way the controller worked, okay? So I fuck up super bad over and over and over again. I used to do really well here, so this is how I usually would play. And it took me a couple tries to figure out where I needed to stand again. It's good to stand on like the right side here, and then you're gonna want to like aim right over there between those buildings. And like the moment you see the scarecrow go by on the left side, you let go. And you'll get a headshot almost every time. At least when you're playing on like 50 to 80 millisecond delays on a TV. I mean, if you're playing on PC, this is a cinch. They don't move fast enough for it to even matter. You can time it well, because the moment you let go of the button, it throws, and you're good. Now, this ends up taking about a minute here, 30 seconds-ish, but I end up getting like 180 something points. So if you guys are looking for getting this completed, or if you're trying to get the shooting range challenge in Knothole Glade, that one is definitely kind of a strategy you want to do. Always just literally take your time and aim at the people in the back. The guy in the very back is going to give you the most points per headshot, per body shot, per full charge than anything else. So just do that. You'll get a crossbow that you'll never use because crossbows are absolute shit in this game. If I was playing on PC, I'd try to use the repeater because the repeaters are pretty cool. But you can only get those with mods and through my cheat table. But the reason you want to go into the Guild Woods is because there's going to be a couple bandits back here. You'll get some extra experience. It's just a little extra thing that you can do if you go play with her in the woods. Super easy just to take off all three of their heads as well. I don't know what that guy's doing. He's just sitting there not looking.
We did it!
But yeah, that is definitely just about it for your child in this game, and the only thing left to do is, I mean, you could go and shoot some birds. You can go and talk to Maze, which is also kind of pointless, but then you also have the last challenge to do, which is the magic one, and that's what I said is super easy. You just stand in a corner and you keep casting lightning until the test runs out. You get about 24 points, 25 points tops.
Astonishing. Bloody hell. A+.
This one is really only worth doing not really that much. I mean, if you're playing heroic mode on the PC, you only get that will potion, I think. So, I mean, all you get is a will potion. Those are pretty cheap. You don't get much for it. No real point. But, yep, on the right there, you can talk to the dude. He'll tell you to kill some birds. And on the left, you can go upstairs and talk to Maze and Scythe. I mean, that's always really cool to see some late game characters that you may not otherwise see very often or until the end of the game.
The Oracle must be protected.
How can you be so
He's always cool to talk to. I always forget if you have to talk to him or not, but then I walk up and he just kind of ignores me, tells me to look at the map, go to see the guild master, crap like that. Now that's just about it for the childhood. Like I said, the only thing left to do is to test out after talking to him, and yeah, that's it. I'm probably gonna cut this episode down to only being the childhood prior to leaving the guild, and then once I've left the guild, I will be starting on episode 2. Hopefully that one's a little bit more structured, a little bit more this is what you should do, this is where you should go kind of crap, because this is just how I play the game. I didn't record my voice while playing it because at least for the first X amount of hours I was playing at my girlfriend's house watching the kids, so I didn't really have my mic or anything like that, but
he would become a hero.
Definitely try playing it the way you want to play it.
What are you doing out here?
The test part of Fable, the Lost Chapters, and Fable Anniversary was also a nice part of the childhood kind of stage in the Fable games. It's pretty mediocre and it doesn't seem like very much to do. I mean, all you do is you just gotta hit him 7 times, you gotta shoot him about 7 times, and you gotta cast lightning at him 7 times. It's not hard. The arrows you don't have to charge, you just kind of spam them. You just gotta make contact with him or whatever, and then lightning, you just hold the button on him until he stops, and then the test is over. But it's still nice because you're kind of demonstrating and doing a final review of what you learned. You learned to hit, you learned to shoot, and you learned to cast lightning. That's pretty much what you learned as a kid in this game, at least in the guild. It's pretty mediocre, the amount of stuff you learned and the amount of time it was, but at the same time, who knows how long it took you to learn how to cast lightning, for one, because you don't see it as a kid. But Fable 2, you really didn't have any real learning phase. You just kind of go into combat, you kind of use your sword, you use your gun, and then you use some lightning or whatever you picked for your first attack, and that was it. Nothing special. Not a bit. Now, just as a sneak peek for the next episode, I'm going to be working on getting the Sword of Aeons at the very beginning of the game, and I'm also going to try to get everything else a little bit to the way I like. So I'm going to pick up the Assassin Rush here, and I'm going to check out how much more I'll need to actually get the summon. Now, when I get back in the next episode, I'll actually put those to use and show you guys kind of what I'd like to do. And since I can't do too much, cheats and shit on Xbox, this is kind of how I do it. Instead of making things harder or anything like that, I just exploit, kind of change it up a little bit to make it look and feel more interesting to me. Yeah. Can't blame me for that, right? I mean, you guys mod Fallout and Skyrim on the PC and shit like that, don't you? Even on console. So, but yeah, I mean, let's just finish up for the rest of this. I have 1.3 billion gold at the every time I pause, it looks like that. I have no idea why, but that is definitely a glitch. Now, only thing I have left to do before I end this is I'm going to go open that demon door. I'm going to grab my quests, and that's it. So if you don't know, you can open this demon door pretty much the moment you graduate, because you're going to get like some gear and crap. You just need the lamp. If you didn't know that, then you should definitely check out some of my other and older Fable anniversary videos that I've had since 2014, and I have a few newer ones since then. But yeah, you just head back over here past the magic testing area, and you just gotta turn on your lamp and he'll open the door for you, and you'll get a health elixir and a couple books.
Your path is...
Well, that about does it for the first episode of how I play Fable Anniversary. Now, this is how I play Fable Anniversary on console, at the very least. I would play it fairly differently on PC, depending on if I want to allow myself to use my cheat engine table. But if I'm not, this is kind of how I play. I just go straight forward. I recently started doing the sort of Aeon's exploit at the very beginning of the game, but if I didn't do that, I would go straight for whatever the strongest weapon I could get and reasonably hold. So, yeah. I will definitely just have to see you guys in the next game and the next episode. That does it for today. See you guys.